This is backwards, isn't it? Please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Will the clerk please read the statement in compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act?
In compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act, adequate notice of this meeting of the council was provided by transmitting a copy of the annual meeting notice to the Madison Eagle and Morris County Daily Record, posting a copy on the bulletin board at the main entrance of Borough Hall, and filing a copy in the office of the clerk all on January 6, 2009. Notice of change in time of this meeting was provided in the same manner, all on January 30th, 2009. Copies of these notices were made available to members of the public. Adequate notice of the executive session added to this agenda was not provided due to emergent matters.
All right. Would you please call the roll?
Mayor Holden?
Here.
Ms. Bailey?
Here. Think about it.
Mr. Lyon?
Here.
Mr. Conley?
Only in body, right?
Will be arriving late. Ms. Tsukamoto?
Here.
Mr. Esposito?
Here.
Mr. Dunham?
Here.
All right. I want to take a look at the agenda. There's one item we'd like to move for discussion up front. I don't see it here.
Number 3.
I don't have a number 3. Oh, here it is. Now I have half of it. Okay. Increase the tax exempt sewer charge by 9%. I'd like to move that up to number 1. That's all right, because Mr. Conley would have to recuse himself on that anyway. Since he's not here, we can move ahead. Anything else? Okay. All right. Then let's move into the sewer charge. Mr. Kalafut.
Just by way of background, last year we increased the rates by 9%, the first rate increase in 18 years. Need to do it again. We have significant capital expenditures in front of us. I'm recommending 9% will generate approximately $25,000 of additional non-tax municipal revenues, which we greatly need.
Questions?
Maybe you can just supplement that a little bit. The rationale is because our sewer charge is included in the tax rate, and the exempt properties don't pay property taxes. In effect, even though they contribute gallonage, they're not supporting financially our sewer facility with the joint meeting with the Borough of Chatham. So this is the way that we recover for people who use our products to pay a portion of the fair share of using the product. That's the rationale for it. One suggestion, which I think is, I don't know if it's reflected in the ordinance we're going to introduce, is that perhaps we may want to consider indexing this like we did with that other fee adjustment, so that this resets annually and we don't go 15, 18 years with no changes, and then we have to, on a recurring basis, come back to future governing bodies, that we put an adjuster in that it resets on an annual, pick a date, January 1st, July 1st, something that's consistent perhaps with the fiscal year of some of our larger users who such as Drew, for example, their fiscal year is out of sync with our calendar year. So if we give them a large increase mid-year of their cycle, so it may be more appropriate to reset like in July 1st of each year, which is consistent with their fiscal year, to reset the rate. But I would suggest that maybe we consider that as part of the increase, so we don't go a long period of time between increases. And
I'd like to come back to the council with a separate agenda recommendation on that. I'd like to pay very close attention to the size of the capital expenditures that we have to make. The index, the COLA could be as little as 1.5 that I've seen in my time here, as much as 6.5. They may not be substantial enough, so I'd like to come back with a separate agenda recommendation on that item.
Okay.
Most likely next year.
Jean.
Ray or Robert, how does the new rate compare to our neighboring communities?
I have not looked at that.
Well,
This was established by ordinance in 1988. It looked at our cost structure only.
Okay. Thank you.
And it looked at our tax exempt users only, so it was not envisioned to be something comparable with other municipalities.
And other municipalities handle it in a different manner. That's right, than we
Right.
do, so.
So I was going to say, Chatham Borough, for example, charges directly through a sewer charge. They don't incorporate it into their taxes. So exempt properties pay a sewer charge based on water usage. In our case, we're imputing a rate based on water usage on a formula for those exempt entities who don't pay property taxes. That's why it's hard for an apples-to-apples comparison to, for example, Chatham Borough does it differently. They charge separately and break it out of their tax rate. It's a benefit to our consumers for the way we do it because it's a lower charge because it's incorporated in the taxes and it's deductible for federal income tax purposes from their taxes.
Right.
And so that's two good reasons, to have one less bill and a deduction.
Any other questions? All right, then we will go to, guess we'll prepare that then for an ordinance change for the next meeting. Eliminate water and electric appropriations. And the reason you have on your thing that we have an executive session in between, but the executive session is going to be at the end of the meeting. Somehow this got screwed up. I know that's what we talked about, Meryl, this afternoon, but it's not here. Number one, to eliminate the water and electric appropriations from all the 2009 department municipal budgets that currently are part of the municipal tax levy.
Yes, I have made this agenda recommendation, and over the last 3 weeks, several events have occurred that have made me rethink this. We have identified reductions of $80,000 that are all inside the cap. There are potential several additional adjustments that naturally would require council's decisions. And these all primarily involve personnel. May I speak on that?
Yeah. please do.
There's one potential, Ray, in Public Works.
Mm-hmm.
There's one retirement that has occurred since our last discussion on the municipal budget in sewer with very little time, if I'm stating that correctly, right?
Correct.
Very little time on payroll. And an event has occurred. We had a person leave in land services. The candidate that has been identified as an internal candidate, and there's an additional savings there as well. Plus there are most likely another $10,000 to $20,000 of savings of reductions that we're going to identify in other departments. That would most likely make the inside cap spending. My other reason for reconsidering this is the pressure on the electric utility rates that we would have to put. We're transferring $3,450,000 in 2009. That's the recommendation. Even though we reduced the surplus from $9 million to $4.5 million, even though we ran the utility essentially at a $1.5 million deficit, I'm still recommending $3.5 million transfer, not to reduce the revenues in 2009 versus 2008. I'd like to continue to do that in 2010, but in 2010 we need rate action in 2009 to ensure that we generate essentially $3.5 million in 2009. It just is counter to take a slug of almost about $300,000 of electricity out of the operating budget, when in fact we are incurring the costs. We are paying Detroit Edison for every kilowatt hour that we consume. So those are tangible dollars that we are spending. If we take them out of the municipal budget and we don't ask the taxpayers for them, and we don't ask the ratepayers for them, then who's going to pay for it? So with the additional events that have occurred since our last budget meeting, I would prefer to go that route, and we can revisit this at a later date.